Yay, what's up guys? It's Ryan Wells. Today is episode number 4 of ShowTheFlowTV. I'm walking around Penn Square Mall today. We're gonna do a book review every single Tuesday. And today's book is something pretty incredible that the concept of it has changed my life. It's called Bunker Bean. And let me just kind of give you a summary of what that book's about. You've got this guy, Bunker Bean, very poor. Who knows what happened to his dad? His mom was an alcoholic, that kind of thing. And so what you end up with is this guy who, by all really rights, was a loser. And that's how people viewed him, that's how he viewed himself. And as a result, he really didn't accomplish much. He just didn't think that he could. So the way the story goes, one day Bunker Bean stumbles across this shop, and it's a psychic lady that he goes to see. And she promises him that if he gives her some money, she'll look into her crystal ball and she'll tell him who he used to be in a former life. He doesn't have much money, but what he does have, he goes ahead and he gives this woman. And she looks in her crystal ball and she's like, oh my gosh, you'll never believe this. You were Napoleon Bonaparte in a previous life. And he says, say what? The world leader? Napoleon? She's like, yeah, that's right. So he leaves on cloud 9. This guy's just pumped. And he's curious, so he goes to the library and he checks out every book that he can on Napoleon Bonaparte and he begins to read. And now he's got this newfound confidence. So everywhere he goes, he's thinking in his mind, I'm a world's leader. I'm a great leader, Napoleon. So he begins to act like a great leader everywhere he goes. And as a result, people start respecting him. People start looking forward to meeting him, seeking him out and his advice. It's pretty crazy. So his income begins to increase because of this newfound confidence. So now he's thinking, I'm curious. What if I were to go back and ask this lady who I was before I was Napoleon and before I was Bunker Bean? So he does. He goes and he visits. And this time she said, okay, but the second time I look into the crystal ball, it's going to cost you double. So he agrees. He goes ahead and he pays that. And she looks and she is flabbergasted at this point. She said, you'll never believe this, but before you were Napoleon Bonaparte, you were Ramses the Great from ancient Egypt, and he was known as the people's king. And boy, that put a smile on Bunker Bean's face to know that he was an even greater leader in a life previous to that of Napoleon. So check this out. He begins to act like the people's king. In fact, he goes to a nice clothing store. Like, we're over here at kind of by J. Crew and Taylor. Surrounded by nice clothes. So he goes to the finest clothing store that he can find and he says, listen, I want you to dress me like a king. Dress me like a king. And so they do. He spends a few $100s on an outfit and he's just, again, beside himself at the confidence that he has. So he begins to be nice to people everywhere he goes, and he puts the interest of other people first, serving them just like the people's king would do, King Ramses. And his influence in the community grows and expands to national influence. So now everybody knows who Bunker Bean or Napoleon or Ramses, whoever he is. They all know. So now that he's got a lot of money accumulated, he goes back to the psychic, and now he wants to know, who was I before Ramses the Great? Now, this time when he pulls up to the shop, it's surrounded by police cars. He's showing up to see this woman that changed his life, and it's surrounded by police cars, and then he sees the woman being carried out of the building in handcuffs. He inquires of one of the officers, and the officer says, oh, this lady is a fake, she's a phony, she's been taking people's money and telling them that they are great people like Napoleon, and we're taking her to jail. Now Bunker Bean he's floored. He's floored, he's thinking, now, this woman changed my life. She told me who I was, and they're saying that she's a phony? Then he realized that it was whenever he thought that he was Napoleon that his confidence began to grow. It's when he thought that he was Ramses that his influence began to grow and he began to put other people's interests first. You see, guys, even though those things weren't true, it all had to do with the way that he thought. And so here's the lesson that we can learn from this book right here, Bunker Bean. It's the way that we think dictates how we act, how we feel, and therefore the results that we get. So let me encourage you today to think of yourself as somebody that's capable of doing great things, of putting the interest of other people first, and as a result, you will also be able to do amazing things. Thank you so much for joining us today for Book Review Tuesday. Tomorrow, I can't wait to go deep. We're going to go deep for Way Deep Wednesday, and we're going to take a look at really a concept that has changed my life and my family forever. It has to do with thoughts are things. We'll talk to you soon.